What the fuck? Look at this, what a junk. Just one slight tap and it's gone. Oh, there's a story to it. I bought this really cheap axe because my other one was broken. And yeah, it seemed nice because there is like a TÜV approval on it. So it means like this should be holding up. But I wanted to give it a test and just filmed it. Like, want to see if that's holding up. I was hitting like 12 minutes. You see all the wood I did. And in that time the head went loose already. Like, you really see that. Yeah. And from this point on it just took some more hits with the axe. And just gonna make sure that my dog is in place and just stay there. Because I was waiting for the head to fly away, but instead it just popped off like nothing. And then I checked with a flashlight where this glass fiber shaft is in there. I think it is ending to about there where my thumb is. So what to do with this? My plan was to put some screws in there. You would not expect, like, wood screws are really tough. They hold like a ton each. And additional to screwing this down, I also wanted to fill it up with a 2-component epoxy again. First, I'm gonna check where to make the drill holes for the screws. And then drill like really thin holes there. And then continued with a bigger drill. So the bigger drill is the exact thickness of the shaft of the screw. So you don't want to have too much friction there, because you want to clamp that down. And then next would be drilling down into the plastic. And the plastic itself is pretty tough, so it took some beating with the wood and did not shatter, so that's quite some durable plastic there. And these are 6 by 80 millimeter wood screws. And yeah, here I'm gonna put some JB Weld epoxy glue. I really like that stuff. Just mix it half and half. And then just make sure you really get a uniform color here. And then I first stuff these holes. And then I put the glue all around the mounting surface, so that it really gets everywhere. And then I try to hammer that down a bit. Not only with my hand, but first like so. Then a little bit more, and with a hammer. And this is what happened. It still was not completely seated down. So I hoped for the screws to do a little bit more. And yeah. Then I wrenched this down to 15 Newton meters, which means that every screw is pushing down with around 300 to 500 kilograms. And this seemed to be really good. There was glue flowing out of the gap all the time, like it was really still continuing to seat down on the shaft. And in the meantime, I just gave the axe a new sharp edge. So first I grind that really slow to see a little bit of a burr forming out on the one side. And then I just changed directions a couple of times. First doing that really slow with some pressure, and then you see there is some kind of burr forming out at the very tip. Don't know if you can see that. Yeah, just a little bit. And then you go with the slightest pressure just to break the burr. A couple of times. And then you're good. I mean, it's an axe, come on. It's not a razor. Can you see here? Still there is some glue flowing out. So I torqued that down again, 15 Newton meters each, a couple of times. And after 1 day of curing, we're ready for a final test. I'm only having these smaller pieces here, and this was the thickest I had then. So what I did then was first chopping these smaller pieces I had and seeing that there is not so much force coming from that. And yeah, when I was finished with the smaller parts I had here, I just hit the axe on the backside to really give it a test. I did that a couple of times, as hard as I can. And I think, for now, this one is good again. Hope you enjoyed the video and see you at the next one.